Is the NC State game, is that the game? Do we think it all could hinge on that game in terms of Atlantic Division, and that's the deal?
I in my opinion, that's the game. I think that's a game that this team probably has had circled on the calendar for a while. You won't hear any of them say that publicly, but especially the way some of those guys and Dave Dorn celebrated after the game, which was understandable. It was his first time beating Clemson, big win for the Wolfpack, yada yada yada. But yeah, I think this is a humongous game when you look at the ACC and the ACC Atlantic in particular. I know a lot of people are high on Wake Forest, but I don't know. I don't see Wake Forest as a threat to Clemson. I think they're a terrible matchup for Clemson, or if you're looking at it from the Clemson standpoint, it's a perfect matchup for Clemson. They match up so well with that offense and have never had many problems with it. But, yeah, to me, it comes down to that North Carolina State team. Bobby touched on it earlier. They bringing back so many players, pretty much the entire team, bringing back that quarterback. Could be the player of the year in the ACC. It's what I'm calling, it's what I've called a revenge game for Clemson, after they lost last year up there in Raleigh. Did not play well at all, still went to overtime, still had a chance to win. Testament to that defense and how good it is. And I think it's going to be better this year. But, there's a lot of people alive probably watching right now that weren't alive the last time NC State won in Death Valley. That game's in Clemson this year. Clemson has not lost at home since 2015. So it should make for a good one, no doubt, because I think North Carolina State's probably a 10-win football team easy.
Yeah, everything he just said. That's the game. That is a game. And, there's always been this friction between Dave Doran and Sweeney. When we won a national championship, we were up there in Raleigh, and if you want to let your emotions get the best of you and you run your mouth, I get it, but probably not too smart of an idea to do that to a team. You just lost to, and then they're the upper hand in the ACC. So it's like, do I really want to tick off these guys? But it was afterwards. He said, I heard that there was a laptop on the sideline, and I demand a full investigation. He sounded like the neighbor in the neighborhood who's on the HOA who complains about everything. As he's walking his dog around the neighborhood, he's got his tape measure to see if the garbage can is too close to the curb. If he does, you'll get a stern-worded letter from him. That's what Dave has portrayed himself out. And he may be a wonderful fella. I could be wrong. But I've never seen a team try so hard to lose a ball game that they said they wanted so much. I mean, they couldn't put us away, and we're playing bad, except for our defense. But that's the game for me, because before that, I said there's the first 4 ball games. Then after the NC State game, you have 3 games that are very winnable: Boston College, FSU, and Syracuse. If we win that game, I say Clemson, I'm a fan. But if Clemson wins that NC State ball game, I believe wholeheartedly that's because we've got a lot of problems fixed. And so I have it circled. If there's a Clemson football player who says they don't have that game circled, they are lying to you, because that game's massive for both teams when it comes to the division, and it was really the one that kind of unseated us last year, and so I look for some payback, but we can't pay anyone back unless our offensive line, our quarterback, and our wide receivers decides they want the game as much as our defense wants it, and our running backs. So
yeah, you talk about that history, or that the Dave Dorn and Dabo Sweeney stuff, it goes all the way back to 2015 when Clemson played in Raleigh, and one of Dorn's assistants took a swipe at Deshaun Watson on the sideline. 2016, they knock Wayne Gallman out of the game with a pretty dirty hit. He kind of brags about it on his coach's show about taking out one of the players. 2017, you got the towels, and there was one of those years where Dorn basically accused Clemson of cheating, using laptops on the sideline. So, been a lot of saltiness from the NC State side over the years, and on the Clemson side, a lot of trolling. Dabo Sweeney's kind of made some, trolling remarks. Let's call them what they are. He's trolled Dave Dorn a few times in the past. Made the jokes about having Amazon deliver towels in when Nick Chubb was stealing all Kelly Bryant's towels that day, and whatever. I can't remember what Dabo Sweeney said about the laptop stuff, but there's been some trolling back and forth. And last year, North Carolina State finally got over that hump. And, that's different. Like we both said, I definitely think that's a game that is circled on the calendar. And it's, to me, the biggest thing, it's in Clemson. It's been about 2 decades or so. I can't remember the exact date, the last time North Carolina State won in Clemson, but it's been a long time, a very long time.
Jason, I think it was when Phillip Rivers was the quarterback, and it was a Thursday night game, if I remember correctly, and we were supposed to play pretty competitive, and they blew the doors off of our team. I mean, it was one of those Tommy Bowden years to where, we had talent, should have done better, and got the crap beat out of us on ESPN on a Thursday night. But, yeah, it's been a long time since they beat us in the Valley.
Yep.
I was going to go try to find that game, but regardless, for the record, I kind of root for Wake Forest. I just feel bad for Wake Forest. They've got every disadvantage in the world, and that coach Dave Clawson is phenomenal. He's phenomenal. For him to churn out 8-4 records on a pretty consistent basis, and much better than that last year. But Jason's right. When you live with an offense that throws the ball all over the yard and that's your calling card, and you've got a horrible that defense made Clemson look. That was the only game of the year they made Clemson look like a scoring machine. Prolific offense. 48 points in that game? That was the only team that pretty much got Clemson out of the teens in scoring. They were that bad on defense last year. They gave up like 60 to North Carolina. But the whole offense is predicated on throwing the ball and keeping that quarterback clean. And when you've got a wrecking crew of a defensive line that can wreck the offense, well, then you're done. And you're right. That's a bad matchup.
2003, the last time North Carolina State won in Clemson.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was Phillip Rivers. Absolutely.
Wow.
They took an Ohio State team to overtime that year in Columbus, too. They were pretty good.